If you want to see tons of more underrated anime recommendations with a section of why you should watch it, make sure to check out my blog, cravetheanime.com. Link in the description. Kick away these weak boys because it's time the strong boys enter the chat. Here are 10 action anime where the MC is absurdly overpowered. Let's go! Number 10, Revenger. This anime is about revenge. Wait, how did you guess? Actually, the revenge plot is very little because this is more like a crime anime drama happening with samurais. And the main character is a master assassin, so he automatically comes with the I'm so overpowered badge. Revenger is about master assassin Yusi Yoon finding about a series of attacks done to his samurai clan. But along the way, like every crime anime protagonist, the murders lead to a dark secret.
天の国に赴かれるのはあなたですよ。すべて懺悔するのならばですが。
Revenger is what your average Redditor anime fan calls mid, but if you're specifically watching for an OPMC swinging a sword, then this is what I call good. The art style and the animation are really good, but Revenger could improve a little on the story department. Number 9, Blade of the Guardians. Once again, we're back to samurais, which is basically OP dudes carrying swords and fighting like they have control of the air around them. But this time, the difference is our samurai bros speak in Chinese. But since this is a Chinese anime, the action's going to be a chef's kiss. I mean, look at those fight scenes. Blade of the Guardians is about a group of people called escorts. No, not the escorts you think. These people provide protection to anyone who is hunted by the government. And the rest of the world isn't better either. There are political tensions around the world and everybody wants to kill everyone except themselves. It makes sense because somewhere in the middle of the anime, we get a three-way fight scene. Number 8, Ishura. Time for a battle royale. Yeah, what's a better way to show everyone who's overpowered rather than to put everyone in a fighting pit and then decide who's the best? And this time, the fighting pit is an entire city. Here, the Demon King is dead. So this is like the epilogue of an epic fantasy story. So what's the challenge? Well, the heroes who defeated him should figure out who the one true hero is. Like every good show, the place where Ishura shines is with its characters. This is probably the most diverse cast I've ever seen in a fantasy anime. One of them is a master fencer, another is a lancer, and we even got a wyvern and a rogue. From their looks alone, I can see this is a bunch of interesting personalities thrown together. Now imagine all of them going to kill each other. Now that's what I call a good battle royale. Number 7, I got a cheat skill in another world that became unrivaled in the real world too. Usually guys get transported into fantasy worlds and never come back. I mean, why should they? The fantasy world's more fun. And what happens when a guy who goes to a fantasy world comes back then decides to kick ass, get girls, and the usual stuff that an overpowered anime protagonist does? This is what you need from an OP high school anime crammed into one, and it's not bad. It might be wish fulfillment, but it's nice when the wish fulfillment is done right. If you're in for some fast-paced action, a badass MC, and at least 5 different kinds of flexes in one episode, then this is the show for you. But don't misunderstand this thinking it's some isekai. Number 6, Dead Mount Death Play.
こいつについてるその子供たちの依頼を
You can pretty much guess from the title, this anime isn't gonna go light on the violence. This is about a hero who is about to defeat a necromancer, but at the last moment the guy pulls an Uno reverse card and casts reincarnation magic. Now our heroes turn to Poka Shinoyama, a boy who needs to start everything from scratch. But this is not the end, because our guy is pretty overpowered.
ありがとう。こんなにも魔力に満ちた場所に連れてきてくれて、ここでなら手に入れられるかもしれない。平穏な生活。
The animation here is superb and the action scenes are really well done. There are a few issues here and there with the plot, but overall, I'm surprised how underrated this anime is, especially because it already has a part 2. If you want to go here for one thing, go for the action. As someone who read a few chapters of the manga, I can tell you the studio did justice to all the cool fight scenes in it. Number 5, The Witch and the Beast.
どうして止まらない？
あら、引き締めろ。一発だ。
Who thought mixing witches, witch hunters, and a badass duo into one single anime would lead to something way too cool? This happens in a world where people with 17 powers pass it from generation to generation. And among this is a man carrying a coffin and a girl with the eyes of a beast. The girl is searching for a witch and her only goal is to rip the witch to shreds. So when they find the witch, you can guess what happens.
見つけたぜ。腐れまたげ！
I love The Witch and the Beast so much because it's about time we finally had some dark fantasy anime. And I know some shows in this list could be considered as dark fantasy, but this is a show that adds world building, some nice animation, and an overall horror vibe to the show to make it mind-blowing. If you need some great action with some cool fantasy vibes, give this one a go. Number 4, Martial Magic and Muscles.
立とうとしても無駄だ。人間の力じゃこの重力には耐えられない。立たなくても十分だよ。
Imagine what would happen if Harry Potter started punching Voldemort like Baki instead of casting some Adva Kedavra. That's what Mashal's all about. Why use these stupid magic wands and broomsticks when you can just go to the gym, get some abs, and start kicking the asses of villains like One Punch Man?
負ける選択肢も助けられない選択肢も僕にはない。
This is the world where magic is casually used by everyone. So what happens when Mash Burndead can't use magic? He aims to rise up the ranks with his fists. While your average wizard practices magic, Mash decides to do 100 push-ups every day. What results in is John Cena attending Hogwarts with zero magical knowledge. That alone should tell you how much comedy and OP action this show is gonna have. Number 3, Jigo Kuraku. If you need to make your protagonist overpowered, always make him an overpowered assassin with daddy issues. Or in this case, it's wifey issues. Gabimaru, the Haloa ninja of Iwegakure village, is known for being cold and emotionless. After he gets captured by Asemon, the Decaptor, a famous executioner, offers him the chance to be pardoned for all crimes by the shogunate. He wants Gabimaru to join an expedition to an island south of Japan in search of the elixir of life. And in return, Gabimaru can go back to see his wife.
やばっ。逃げるわよ、センター。
忍法怒りつぶて希望しバージョン。
Just like Witch and the Beast, Jigo Kuraku is a dark fantasy done right. It's not the lighthearted, and some of the themes discussed here are definitely not for 13-year-olds looking for the next edgy anime. And this is done by Mappa. Mappa might not have been at its best when it comes to animating this, but Mappa's worst is like Studio Dean's best, so you still get an awesome show. Number 2, Eminence and Shadow.
これぞ我が最強。I am atomic.
How can you be cringy and cool at the same time? How can you be both of that and still provide entertainment for the audience at the same time? Here we have a mastermind named Sid Kagenao, who is good at pulling strings and making up evil machinations to drive the story the way he wants. He's now reborn into a world of magic, and he now needs to prove that he's the true eminence of Shadow. But Eminence and Shadow won't be interesting without the harem in Shadow. The Shadow Garden is filled with OP ladies who think nothing but ways to get Sid's attention. Yes, this is pure wish fulfillment, but instead of being another generic anime, it turns its attention to comedy. If you can turn cringe into comedy, then you have my award. Number 1, Solo Leveling.
強者だけが生き残るのであればくたばれ
I mean, what else would be number 1? Any Solo Leveling fan knows Solo Leveling is the ultimate grandfather of all absurdly overpowered MCs. But our guy starts off pretty weak though. This happens in a world where people called hunters hunt for monsters. And here we have our bro Shun, who is labeled as the weakest hunter of all mankind. But what happens when he finds a way to level up?
どうするつもりなんだ
もっと早く
Solo leveling might sound like another weak to strong type story, but it does so many things right. The level up system is integrated well, the characters are built up nicely, and anime seems to be doing justice to the series with its action. It's currently airing, so what are you waiting for, you lazy bastard? Go watch some Solo Leveling now and start solo leveling your life.